Welcome back to the Too Much to Type podcast, and I am your host, Francis with an E. I'm happy you are here with me. If this is your first time joining, welcome. If this is your second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, I don't know. If you're not new here, welcome back. So first of all, okay, I never thought that I would say this, but this episode, I kind of wrote it with the robot. I know, don't come on, don't look at me like that, okay? Don't look at me like that. I feel your eyes. I saw the eyebrows go up. It's not that big of a deal, okay? But we'll get into all of that. So, to our new listeners, I like to do this thing called This or That at the very beginning, kind of loosen things up, kind of, break the ice, whatever. So, today on This or That, we're asking this question. Would you rather be obscenely wealthy for a year or poor forever, but you never have to pay bills? Now, I know what I would do. I would be obscenely wealthy for a year. Because let me tell you why. That being wealthy for a year, there's so much you could do. There's so much you could do. I will take the year with all the money that I had. Child, please, I'll be pouring into businesses. I will be starting businesses. I will be investing. My mama could tell me all about that. I would be doing so much within that year that would roll over into residual income anyway. It would just roll right on over to the next year. It's like, okay, that's it. You're not wealthy anymore. But I would have everything. Child, I'd be laundering money. I'm lying, y'all. I'm lying. I would not be laundering money. Child, please, I'd be investing in a dope game. No, I wouldn't be doing that either. I'd be buying bricks on bricks on. No, I'm just joking. But no, seriously, I would take the obscenely wealthy for a year. There's so much good that I would do within that time frame. It would just be well worth it. Well worth it. And nowhere in this clause does it say obscenely wealthy for a year and then broke the rest of your life. It just says obscenely wealthy for a year. I don't need to be wealthy for the rest of my life. I am wealthy in other ways, not just dollars. So that's what my this or that would be. I would be obscenely wealthy. Let me know what y'all think. Hit me up, too much to type 2025 at gmail.com, or DM me at too much to type on Instagram. Let me know, what would you do, this or that? So quick check-in, y'all. How are we doing? It's a lot of things happening these days. It's a lot of conversations being had, a lot of unrest, a lot of unhappiness going on. How are we doing? How are our hearts? How are our minds? How are our spirits? How are our bodies? How are our emotions? How we doing? Let me tell y'all, I'm managing. I think that's about all we can do, right? Is just manage. Just manage. That's what I'm doing. Child, please. I am doing puzzles. I am reading books. What am I reading right now? Oh, I'm actually reading two books. Charlemagne the God had Miss Cheryl McKissick Daniel on the Breakfast Club a few weeks ago. So I'm reading The Black Family Who Built America, The McKissicks, 2 Centuries of Daring Pioneers, and that's written by Miss Cheryl McKissick Daniel. Read it. It's great. I'm reading that, and I'm also reading a little smut. But yeah, and doing puzzles and painting and taking walks and having comfort breaks. If you know, you know. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing to protect my peace, child. I'm not watching the news. I mean, I listen to it because I have a husband at home who loves to have the news on. It's either the news talking about somebody getting killed or murdered, or he's watching Investigation Discovery, watching stories about people who've been killed and murdered. So, it's a lot of that going on. So I listen, and he keeps me informed on what I need to be informed on. But I'm protecting my peace. I'm not worried about none of that. I'm picking up too many other hobbies. I have way too much on my plate, but I like to function best in dysfunction. That's what it is. So that's what my life is giving these days. But really today, today we're going to talk about the unexpected help that I got to make this podcast even possible. So, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the Chat GPT. Oh, Lord. I know, y'all. I know. I know. I understand. But look, I had way too much to say and zero idea of where to start. Okay. So my AI bestie, the Chat GPT, swooped in and was like, girl, let me gather you. Let me get you together. Let me help you out. Let's figure it out so that you can talk about it, so you can structure things. And yes, I will admit it felt wild as hell. I'm not gonna lie. It was wild as hell. I was like, this is crazy that this tool is so helpful. But really, it was like I'm talking to my little homegirl who always online, don't have nothing to do. My homegirl that has a whole bunch of ideas and knows everything about everything, has nothing else to do but help me. So that's literally what it felt like. But, I know some people are still real, real iffy. I was iffy too. I was iffy too. But as time has progressed, it is such a tool. I tell everyone about ChatGPT. Don't get it twisted. ChatGPT is not doing my work for me. No, it is just, I have found it so helpful to be a space to just come up with anything, just to brainstorm. That's what it is. So, how did this start? How did this relationship with how did this computer love start? You ask. I was overwhelmed. I wanted to start the podcast. I was just, and so many people had talked to me about it and said, oh my gosh, you should do it. You should do it. And I had been wanting to do it, but I got a little overwhelmed. I had a lot of stuff going on. And you know how that goes. We prioritize everything else except for what we really want to do. Oh, and I'm the queen of procrastination. I'm going to find some other shit to do. Okay. I'm going to find all the low hanging fruit that I can. And I'm going to be doing all these little tasks that don't got shit to do with anything. They're just taking up time and keeping me distracted from what it is I really need to be doing. So I was overwhelmed with starting the podcast, didn't know what I needed to do, didn't know what equipment I would need, which, by the way, you don't need much for anybody out there who's looking to start one. You do not need much. Don't have these folks on here making you think you got to have a whole studio set up. You don't. I'm literally sitting in an armchair with my legs crossed with a cup of tea and chilling. Okay. So back to what I was saying. Yeah, I got a little overwhelmed with starting the podcast, but I knew I was going to do it. I decided I was going to do it. I prayed about it, put my heart into it, and I was like, yeah, why not? I'm going to do it. And so I had this idea already brewing in my head about this reintroduction era of me, reintroducing myself. But I, I don't really feel like I'm reintroducing myself to anything because I've been here. And for those who know me for real, you've known this part of me. It's just different that now I'm putting it out there because I don't have any more restrictions. Well, I'm not putting it all out there. Don't get, hold on. Wait a second. Wait, wait. We're going to get there. I'm not putting it all out there right now, but that's what it was. It was like I had this idea, this reintroduction of me and blah, 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 blah. And then I thought, I realized, well, I don't necessarily have to do it all by myself. Like, I'm a creative person, but sometimes I do have trouble with putting all my thoughts into order, is if that makes sense. And I don't know. I'm gonna continue. I'm blaming all of my ailments on perimenopause. Y'all might as well get used to that word. I don't care if you don't want to hear it anymore because that's where we are. But anywho, I blame everything on that. And so I realized I didn't have to necessarily do it all alone, and I could be really creative with this Chat GPT. It's so funny, and really at my previous job, that is what pushed me over the edge. of using the chat GPT and the AI, because we were in the process of doing appraisals and all these things. And our director is the one who was suggesting the tool to help employees write their appraisals. And my coworker's like, "You don't use ChatGPT?" I'm like, "Hell no. The feds is always listening." Okay. That's my motto in life. I'm from Overtown, Miami, Florida, baby. Towners all day long. The feds is always listening. And them laws is always watching. So I was like, "No, I'm not doing no chat GPT. What if, Lord forbid, I decide to do some criminal activity?" I'm lying. Y'all know I ain't doing no criminal activity. I ain't doing shit that's gonna keep me from my children. You understand? So, but anyway, back on subject. See, there go that random. Thank you for listening and joining me, your host, Francis with an E, on the Too Much to Type podcast. If you would like to be a guest, just shoot me an email at too much to type 2025 at gmail.com. Or you can DM me on Instagram at too much, the number two, type, too much to type. Don't forget to subscribe and share wherever you like to listen to podcasts so you don't miss out on all this goodness. Then have your friends mad at you and mad at me because you didn't spread the word. It'd just be a mess. You can even leave a review, but make sure you subscribe and share right before you tell me how you really feel, okay? It's a give and take up in here. Thank you all again. Till next time. Again. So that is what pushed me over the edge to chat GPT AI. Our director at the time was suggesting that we use this tool to help write our appraisals. And so it was like, okay, well, let's see what this tool is. Let's see what we're going to do. I used the tool and was like, wow, this is really cool. Now, mind you, initially, I was not going to write my appraisal. That's a whole nother conversation too, because I was just rebellious. And I was like, no, if y'all don't know what I do, then I don't know what I do. But there is a story behind that. We'll talk about it another day. But anyway, that's how it started. That's how I got to know my chat GPT. Now, how it was helpful, very helpful. Very helpful. Like I said, like I already mentioned, I have so many thoughts that's always running through my head, but it helped me just kind of figure out what my branding voice was, and kind of it helped me name the episodes, which, by the way, I ended up going a whole different direction with the way I named the episodes. You know what? Maybe I'll do some kind of fun giveaway if people can guess and pick up on the way I name my episodes. That's a good one. But yeah, so it did. It helped me write episodes. It helped me um figure out how I wanted to write the show descriptions. um I'm still working on that. I'm open to suggestions. I don't know. I just feel like each show has its own thing. But it also gave me confidence to just show up and do the podcast. Really. Chat GPT was like a battery in my back saying, "Girl, why just do it? What is your problem?" And then you know what? I saw a post. Someone said, what did it say? It said something along the lines of, just do it. You can make it good later. And that's with anything in life. And so that's what I decided. I was like, you know what? I'm going to just do the podcast. I'll make it good later. It'll be great as I keep going along and keep working on it. But right now, I'm just going to do it. So it gave me the confidence to just do it and not overthink it and not be too crazy about it, not be too meticulous about it. It's supposed to be fun. The podcast is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a great time. It's supposed to be thought provoking, emotion invoking, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, so talking through it with my chat GPT was fun. It just gave me the confidence to do it. And really, the thoughts that I had were, okay, here I am venturing into this realm of being a Black woman creator. Now, I still run everything through it like it's my voice. The technical part isn't me, but it just helps me tell what I want to tell. It was helping me express what I wanted to express in the chat GPT. But I was more so concerned about making sure that I was showing up authentically in this space. But at the same time, I want to use the tools to help me, to help support my growth in this too. And so, shoot, my chat GPT always gets me together. And you know what? There's a balance here between the ownership of this podcast, the content that's being created, the thoughts that are being shared, but I'm still the show. I am still the soul of this show. Okay. Yes, Chat GPT helped me along the way, but it's still me. It's still, these are still my thoughts. This is still my personality. It is still my format. It is still what I want to do. I just needed a little, I need a little support and a little oomph. So that's what the Chat GPT gave me. And ain't nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. Ain't nothing wrong with that. People use help, get help from all kinds of places and all kinds of people. I just chose to use what was at my fingertips. I'm not the most tech savvy person. So anyone who knows me will know that it was a leap. It was a leap to even think about using it. I'm like, oh my gosh. But I'm glad that I did. Because, like I said, it gave me the boost, the battery in my back, the confidence to just say, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to go for it. And so that's what we're doing. And, really, if we keeping it grown, sometimes the help you need, it doesn't come in the package you expected. Okay. But if it gets you closer to your purpose, if it gets you closer to your calling, don't be afraid to use it. We're all here for a purpose. So, use what we got. Use what God gave us, y'all. Like, come on. Technology is one of those things. So, yeah, I had to get out of my own way and not be afraid to use what I had. I mean, I still have to show up and do the work. Don't get it twisted. I still have to show up and do the work. I still have to sit here, think about what I want to talk about. I still have to structure these episodes. I still have to reach out to guests. I still have to edit, which I suck at. But I'm, you know what? I'm excited that I have learned so much during this process. I could go back. It has taken me years to do this because what happens is all kinds of other things get in the way. All kinds of other things become the priority, which is fine. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But it feels good to just be like, you know what? Here I am and I'm doing the thing. And like I said, I still have to show up and actually do the work to pull this off. And I still have to show up as me and make it happen. But at least I'm not doing it alone because I got my little chat GPT. When I need ideas, when I need ideas, I'm looking for opinion or suggestion. So, hey, that's where it took me. That's where it took me. I am going to encourage you all. If you are on the fence about ChatGPT, and you can use it to do all kinds of stuff. Now, I'm not the kind of person that's like, I'm not using ChatGPT instead of supporting people around me doing the things that I need, if that makes sense. For instance, the theme song and all that stuff. Of course, I could have just found some kind of beat or whatever to do it. No, I reached out to my friend. And I'm not over here like, give me a discount. Do it. No, like this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to put each other on. We're supposed to utilize each other. Use what we got to get what we want. So that's what I did. That's what I do. And Chat GPT is now a part of that. Now let me ask you all a question. What is something that you've been avoiding because it feels like it's just too much? And then, like, what kind of support, even unexpected support, what kind of support might help you start? Because we don't ever think about that, do we? We just look at the thing and we don't consider all the little nuances and little things that will help get us to where we got to go. I never considered Chat GPT. I never did. I was one of those people that was like, no. But that was a tool and that was the support that I needed to actually get here to this episode with y'all. I mean, we're however many episodes in at this point. And just imagine how much lack you all would have if you didn't have my lovely voice and wit and charm and what is it? Comedic relief to get us through these hard times and that we're facing right now. So, what is it? What's that something that you want to do? You've been avoiding it because it feels too heavy. It feels like it's too much. You don't know what kind of support that you would need. You don't want to ask anyone for help. That was me. Don't want to ask anyone for help. I mean, and you know what? And I hate to say that I don't like asking people for help because I don't mind it. It's one of those things I don't like to inconvenience people. So if you're like me and you don't like to inconvenience people, you don't want to feel like a burden. You don't want to do any of that. ChatGPT always available. Middle of the night, I got a thought in my head, I can throw it in the ChatGPT. Middle of the day, I'm working, I got a question, let me ask my ChatGPT. I need input on something. Everybody else is working or going to school or taking care of kids or an appointment or running errands and they don't have time. I just run to my ChatGPT, child. I have it right here. And I just ask my ChatGPT. Don't be afraid of change. Don't be afraid, because change is ever happening. And who knows what would happen to you if you just thought outside the box. If it wasn't me finally taking the leap and saying, okay, fine, forget it, I will do it, I would have never found this. I would have never gotten here. I would have never found this space with y'all. So yeah, that's my story. That's how we came to be friends. That's how we got here. ChatGPT, my friend, helping me out and getting me to where I was trying to go. So I want to thank you all for joining me again today on another episode of Too Much to Type and listening to me ramble about my love affair with ChatGPT. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I implore you and hope I don't hope. I will see y'all next time. We'll be here again having more conversations. And again, you want to join me, hit me up. Shout out to ChatGPT. This podcast is powered by the vibes, honey, the vulnerability, and a robot that stays ready whenever I need it. That's the truth. That is the truth. So before I leave you all, of course, sticking to the script, I have to leave you with a quote of the day. And the quote of the day comes from Mr. Colin Powell. And it is, all work is honorable. Always do your best because someone is watching. Thank you all so much for joining me today on Too Much to Type podcast, and talk to you later. I took a bet on myself to find the real me. I got too much to say, too much to type.